Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today I want to start a little bit differently. And I want to invite you all to join me if it speaks to your heart. Um, but I actually want to start in prayer and gratitude. And first, I want to be in gratitude for the opportunity for us to gather here together. And what a blessing and the luxury it truly is. I want to be in gratitude and in prayer recognizing that you can put your energy and your attention in so many other places that are calling for the investment of your time and of your love and curiosity, and to acknowledge just how precious you are to this space and what we're creating together. And then I also want to bless those people who may not have the opportunity to join. Either they don't have time, they're too busy, they don't have access to the facilities that we do, but that their heart craves what's being offered here in our gathering, in our collective energy. And my prayer is that they receive the transmissions of our curiosity and love and expansion as well. And just in that, we know that we're of service. And in that service, may that relax our nervous system. May they put us back on a path of grounded, accelerated evolutionary love, just because we know that we're being and we're holding what's possible in our highest, just with the intention, and that we give from our overflowing cups to maybe some other people who may not have the benefit of receiving in the way that we do. Um, and it's with that prayer that I want to introduce you to Sarah K. Grace. Uh, who's an amazing psychic. She's worked as a paramedic, and as a paramedic, the way that she was able to tune in and see what was happening and bring in healing in different ways, and really honed her medical intuition, her psychic surgery, which has served her and so many of the clients that she's worked with over the years, and also how she's evolved that work into this body that is so relevant right now, EmpathX, and really embracing our sensitivity as our superpower. So we're going to get into amazing conversation where Sarah says she's going to provide some transmission, some grounded truth, some empowerment, and we're also getting into a lot of Q&A really to support all of us into the transitions that we're experiencing in different ways right now. And it's with that introduction, Sarah, that I want to welcome you to the call. Thank you for coming back to BTO.
Thanks so much for having me back, John. Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here.
Tell us about EmpathX. And what a great name. It's like, all right, bring some context to us so we can really receive the bounty of the transmission.
Well, there's a lot in our world around empath now, which is great, right? There's a lot more awareness around being sensitive. And when I was brainstorming on kind of my next evolution, thinking of going from me and my own personal story and shares that I've been doing for the last number of years to more of we and collective, because I feel like that's what we're being called to right now as humans, essentially.
Yeah.
And it just dropped in, honestly, because essentially X is, it can be anything. And where we are right now with sensitivities, my invitation is to redefine what it means to be sensitive in a very grounded way, taking
Mm,
out of the coming away from the kind of overwhelm or fragile or victim mentality that can sometimes, accompany being this way, to instead shifting focus to kind of being badass. So it's almost
totally.
like what X Games did to sports, where the intention is to bring into energetics and conscious awareness and spirituality, because we can redefine. And I really believe it's our time now as sensitives to come out and to, communicate and congregate and share tools and ways that we can really, really, feel good and use our gifts in grounded and amazing ways.
I've always said, not always, but I had a realization that came quite a few years ago, that it's the empaths that are going to change the world.
Yeah.
It's the empaths that are going to change the world, which is profound. So, what is your take on why there's so many empaths and sensitive people on the planet right now?
Well, my understanding is we are in the cultural and vibrational shift. So if you want to go with the term ascension, there's a lot of terms out there, but
Mhm.
everybody in the day-to-day can just tell that something's happening, right? It's a very intense time. We are shifting from dark masculine out of the Piscean, right, into the Aquarian age, which is going to be more light feminine, and we're just beginning that transition. So we, as every human is an energetic being. And we, as sensitives, our nervous systems are just slightly more attuned or sensitive so that we're just generating a bit more energy. Now, it could be in part that because we're able to generate more and it transmute more, that's assisting in the collective shift in frequency. So there's more of us needed. But you know what it is there's so many of us that have been here and people are just coming online now, or it's
Mm.
like they kind of always knew something was up or something was off. And now they're just breaking through and realizing and going like, oh my gosh, that's me. And so
Yeah.
seeing both in incarnation cycles, we've got so many young kids that are just super attuned, like super high frequency beings. We've got all the spectrum kids, those guys hold a really, really high frequency. And then we've got all the people that are breaking through into their own remembrance of
Mm.
their own giftedness.
How, what are some things that you can suggest or directly point towards? Because you mentioned something there, there's like this force that's coming through us as an empaths and the older generations, maybe not so much the young kids. There's this hesitancy of exerting a particular force or energy that it's going to be too much or that we're going to get a backlash for feeling into too much and then calling out what we see, feel, and hear from that empathic intelligence.
Mhm. Oh, it's a fine line.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
because we can perceive what isn't being said or what the person's
Hmm.
holding. And so it's time and place, whether there's an invitation, right? We don't just like truth bomb somebody in the bread aisle at the grocery store, right? If it's not, if it's not invited. But if there is a conscious conversation and invitation, yes. And really, I think what you're pointing at is willingness to be in our power, because
Hmm.
our culture is really funny in the way, I'll use air quotes, in the way that everybody is conditioned to constantly pursue and be busy and like never, ever, ever stop, right? Always striving. But if you were to ever arrive, if you are ever to say like, no, I did it, I am here, then we're attacked. Who do you think you are? Aren't you
Yeah.
full of yourself? So first pointing out the cultural conditioning and like the hypocrisy of it. Second, giving ourselves permission to pull out of that rat race and be like, wait a second here. Like we are perceiving things on a much, much deeper level than quote the standard person. So our systems take more time to regulate,
Hmm.
clear, to attune. And so we need to start kind of creating those spaces. And that's what we can talk about more. Like, how do you do it? What do you do?
Yeah, we'll get into that. And again, I want to point out that's one thing to someone that's carrying bread at the grocery store. It's another thing to do it with coworkers, our partners, our family, and even our children. And it's, our greatest teachers
Mhm.
in so many ways, but it can be very dysregulating and confusing for the empath because talk about family gaslighting, not on purpose, but when we're not even sure where the information is coming from, but we know that we're getting it, and then someone else is telling us that we're crazy, we're not stealing that. Who do we think? That's not really what's happening. It throws off and puts. I've certainly been in that situation where it puts me in this vortex of disassociation.
Yeah. Mhm. very true. And our primary teachers are those closest to us.
Mhm.
It's usually because the peripheral people, it's they can say something, you're like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if it's typically those closest, right? And then we have a lot of sensitives and empaths come from traumatic family dynamics. And so on one part, empaths can be forged through trauma because we have to be hypersensitive and attuned. So that does kickstart the nervous system and awareness. And subsequently, that doesn't necessarily kickstart clairaudience or visions or whatever. So it's not just a trauma response. Being an empath is not just, it plays part of it.
Right.
Invitation is to stay centered with self. And if there's a conscious conversation or just a conversation and there's an invitation and you say something and then it triggers something in them, so they'll spin it back, the invitation is for you to not take it on, which is easier
Mhm.
than done, especially when it's somebody that we love or somebody that we don't want to lose, right? Or
Yeah.
upset. And that right there is like the master level curriculum, because a lot of times it's like we quote fail because we'll either spin out or like second guess ourselves or shrink back or whatever. But that's the work. The work is
Mhm.
to start to trust yourself, right?
Yeah. One of the biggest breakthroughs that I've had really in my life, again, growing up extremely sensitive, empathic, very psychically attuned, but not knowing what to do with all of it. It's like, okay, thank you. It came to a point where I was being chastised so much for my sensitivity, um, in different places. And I finally got to a point, it's like, you know what? Whoever's chastising me, they can leave.
Mhm.
Because I've been turning off my superpower, one of the greatest gifts that I have, for the sake of other people feeling comfortable. And I'm just not willing to do it anymore. It is what it is, and they can either deal with it, we can talk about it, we can decide how to maturely align with the flow of information and speak clearly and more honestly and
Mhm.
act honestly with one another, or they can leave. But there really isn't another choice because to shut it down hurt way more than letting it flourish.
Yeah. Boy, that creates all kinds of things physically, emotionally, mentally. It presents in all kinds of ways because we're literally stifling a
Mm.
tremendous amount of power. And if the power gets stifled, the energy stagnates. And if the energy stagnates, then all kinds of things form, right? Yeah.
So how do you see that people can determine whether their empathic capacity was really formed from trauma or was actually a gift? Because again, that can be confusing also. I know a lot of empaths that very trauma-based and they're very sensitive. They could pick on nuances and read body language without knowing that they're reading body language. And they consider it a psychic skill. And there's some projection that winds up being directed at people, thinking that they're receiving truth energy rather than protection energy, which then creates problems in the relationships. And then there's those empaths that, yes, they've gone through the trauma, but that gift is just so innate, and they really are in tuned
Mhm.
with an energetic flow. And how can we, as empaths, maybe both forged by trauma and the gift, discern the difference of when we're projecting and when we're really receiving something that's accurate?
Oh, that's such a great question. If there's any aspect of your stuff involved, like any sort of opinion or any sort of, it's going to be a projection coming from your subconscious.
Mhm.
Transmissions just drop in and it's like, I don't know why I'm saying this. But I need to
Yeah.
say it like this. And then the person's like, oh my gosh, right? So there's a cleanliness in terms of zero personal account with that. And it's okay, you guys. Like I said, many of us come from very traumatic environments, and it does attune the nervous system to be hyper aware. So, where we want to start is your trauma work integration, your shadow work integration, your nervous system regulation, and then looking at the utilizing is this become an identity, right? To be an empath, has that become your identity? And we want that can be a slippery slope because when that happens, then it's usually coming from the trauma stuff and it'll get mixed with the person stuff and come out that way. Now, if you, and I, rare to find somebody who's come from a really healthy, secure attachment home, like in today's culture and world. So we're all working with what we're working with. But say you go through those things and then you're like, okay, I'm still a work in progress, but I've got a pretty good handle on myself. Let me start to open and activate crown, third eye, see if we're going to channel. Am I hearing things? Am I seeing things? Do I have dreamscape, lucid dreams? Can I astral travel? None of that stuff has anything to do with trauma. Those are all different skill sets, right? And so it's they are very together, and at the same time we can work them separately. But the big key takeaway in this is to be very powerful in your gifts requires you to be fully in your body. So to be fully in your body, you got to do your trauma work. Because if you haven't done your trauma work, you're going to be all dysregulated all the time and not want to be in body and disassociate and kind of float above. Totally okay if that's where you are, but the invitation is down and in.
What are examples of trauma work integration?
Oh gosh, there's so many things. So EMDR, it's like eye motor desensitization reprogramming, reprocessing. We use it for combat vets and firefighter paramedics, those of us that have had like severe traumas. That actually rewires. So EMDR, brain spotting, anything somatic trauma based. So somatic just means get in your body and feel it. That's it.
Right.
So you can do yoga, you can do like a qigong, you can just sit in stillness and all of a sudden you'll start shaking and crying. It's amazing. It just wants to come out of the cells. There's the it just came in when it'll come back if it's meant to. There's so many different ways to regulate hypnotherapy, and then of course the entire myriad of energy work.
Right. I now want to give context for framing some of what you're talking about, just to drop it in so that y'all can just kind of land and feel into what Sarah's offering here. And this is such a great conversation. I hope y'all feeling this because we may know some of these things, but it's good to be reminded because we're being asked to become more empowered, more grounded, more active in our capacity of empathy and connection, which I think they're both the same, but obviously there's distinctions to it, because it's really calling us into greater gifts, not only for ourselves but for our ability to tune into others. It's part of the alchemy of unity consciousness and compassion and grace that comes through. Sarah, I want to drop into Q&A in a little bit because I know there's a lot of questions that are coming in. So y'all raise your hand if you have questions, type it into the chat box. And before we go into that, though, we got into a little bit of a conversation. And I said, wait, we need to stop. We need to talk about this in the show. So Sarah very eloquently described a period that we're in as a shit show.
Yeah, just being real, man.
It is what it is, right? And I think it's a great way to explain it. What are you experiencing with the clients and the people that you're working with as far as the different stimulus that that is influencing the collective right now and how they're responding to it and what are some things that you can offer to help to bring pause and balance and intelligence to it so we can really ride the waves beautifully instead of crashing on a continuous basis and not honoring our mind, body, and spirit.
Beautiful. So we are in the pot that is boiling, actively about boiling over, and
Hmm.
we're in it pretty extreme energetics. What is presenting are high numbers of death and suicide, and we are also experiencing, if any of you guys are in the place where you're like, I feel like I'm just losing it, uh, emotional erraticacy, insomnia, racing mind, like that PTSD crazy mind that where you just can't calm down. We're seeing lots of that. Nervous system dysregulation. So again, that can come in like bipolar type presentation, that can come in nervous system tics and tremors, that can come in all kinds of. So that and all of those trickle down into hormone dysregulation, gut biome dysregulation, and it's just kind of all of the organ systems go like dominoes. So people are like, even people like myself that have been in this world doing my work for a long time, 20 plus years, it's like I'm feeling it like, holy
Yeah.
crap, this is intense. So it's really what you want to do is unplug from whatever fear-based, stimulus, or if there's something that's coming in that's pinging you, if there's a coworker or a family member that's just on you and you just can't, like, let's try to create some sort of space from that, turn off the TV or whatever, and just kind of get a little bit of quiet time. There's always the basics, you guys, of hydration, go outside, get some direct sunlight if possible. Those are going to be the basic things. But the thing that sets me apart is my paramedic. I was paramedic for 15 years. We're very literal, very practical, and we have to figure it out fast, right? So it's not this huge, long, elaborate. It's like, what are we doing? How do we do it? Let's do it.
Mhm.
That's kind of how I look at these types of things. And we also have to remember it's not all just energetic. We can sit and meditate and visualize what we want. That's great. But we also have bodies, emotions, minds. Like there's an astral, there's all of these different levels that play in. So let's start with the basics of the body. Go get an ice pack out of your freezer, some frozen peas. If you're feeling yourself getting really, most people are, it's like they have their foot on the gas and the brake right now, right? So their systems are just deregulating, or they're having tummy issues or sleep issues or whatever. And so first we want to watch how you're medicating yourself. Okay. So let's be honest about what you're up to. How much are we drinking, or like, and that's okay if that's what you're doing, but we just want to watch it. And then we want to start to bring back into balance, like the other things. So go get an ice pack and put it on the top of your head. You can put it on the back of your neck and one on your chest, and just long, slow, steady exhalations is going to begin to bring down the physical body response. It's all about nervous system regulation in the moment. Additionally, we get very acidic. So it's like we're running hot and dry. So think of coconut water. Think of
Mhm.
aloe vera gel in smoothies, Epsom salt baths, all of these things that are going to be yin. Lavender water or rose water, spritzers can be very, very.
Mhm.
So these are things that are going to start to like cleanse and cool the field. And I'm all about stuff that's inexpensive and in your house and that you can just do in the moment. One other,
Mhm.
one other thing, you can always just take child's pose. Taking child's pose is just going to close down the front body of the chakras, because so much energy goes out the front for us. And then we get in our head. So it's like bobblehead, and then front body's hypertrophied or expanded out, and that destabilizes everything. So the field starts going like a wobbly tire, which throws all of the chakras off, which throws the meridian flow off, and it just goes again like dominoes. So very simple, hydrate, sunlight, breathe, lay on your back and put your legs straight up the wall. Close your
Mhm.
eyes, take some breaths. Feel that energy come back into the pelvis, anchoring in first and second chakras. Just that at the end of the day, and then hit yourself with some rose water. You're gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
it's simple.
And actually doing it, like really pausing long enough to become conscious and how we can really support and honor ourselves in the process. Because again, we're moving fast, and a lot of times we move so fast that the next thing is like, okay, it's time to go to bed, and you haven't done anything to really support the nervous system. And then we go to sleep and we go, it's either restless sleep or dreams that don't support, and we wondering why we're tired all the time.
And it doesn't have to be a big long thing, five,
Yeah.
10, especially at the end of the day, if you're out in the world, just clearing your field at the end of the day, taking a few nice long exhalations, throw your legs up the wall, take child's pose, whichever it's going to be for you. And just that in and of itself can regulate the body and get you grounded.
It was interesting. I was in back in May, I was in Bali for a month, and I traveled there from Kauai, and Bali seems like it would be a paradise, and I've been there before, and there's certainly parts of it that are. But I went from a pretty serene place into a place where there's motorbikes everywhere. It takes 30 minutes to get a mile. It's constantly motion and moving, and that's my feelers were like on guard. and trying to do its best to self-regulate. Um, what would you suggest for people who live in hectic environments like that? Maybe aren't even aware that they're being so stimulated. It just becomes so, it's kind of like the frog in the boiling water. You don't know that you're boiling over because you're in the environment. Um, how is it that we can bring consciousness to it so that we can be better aware and attuned to have those practices that would help us bring in more clarity, expand our energy in a more empowered way, and really showed up as an empowered empath rather than one that's shrinking because it's victimized by everything.
Mhm. Earplugs.
Nice. Easy. You straight direct from, yeah.
So I personally, there's all kinds, but I personally like the swimmer's earwax because it's clear and nobody can see it. You just stick it in.
Mhm.
So anytime I am in a restaurant, and you were in Abood, weren't you? Because I was in Bali, my daughter's over there. I was all like thinking it was going to be eat, pray, love, and it was just, I almost got killed by motorbikes.
Like,
And
whoa, 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 yeah.
I had the same experience. I was like, what is happening?
You're eating, you're praying so that you don't get run over by the motorcycle, and you're loving when you get to get away from it. Yes.
Totally, totally. So earplugs are going to be great. Anytime you go to a store, anytime you go to a restaurant, it's just going to cut down that stimulus significantly so that your system doesn't get, hammered. The thing is as the stimulus comes in, just think of the nervous system like the sonar. And so the sonar with the mirror and motor neurons, it's always scanning. And so you go to a loud environment. Why do they put TV screens and gas pumps now? It's like you can't go anywhere without it just like blaring in you, right? So there's things like that that we can do that are super simple. So earplugs are going to be tried and true for sure. Additionally, something as simple as, and this would be more maybe at home, but ankle weights, because so many people start to float above or disassociate that they forget that they have feet. So one easy way to ground yourself is just throw on like old school ankle weights, or even jump up and down on a little rebounder trampoline to bring yourself back down and in. In the moment, here's the tools though. So earplugs, and then think of your grid. So when your field is just a bubble around you, right? So we have the front side, back side, left, right, above crown, below feet, and then all of these layers to that. We as sensitives, we're always bleeding out the front. Aren't we just the care, like we're such caregivers, right? We're just all like,
Yeah.
feel you. Well, what happens though is if our systems get nuked, the nervous system destabilizes, our system gets hot and acidic, and then we can actually create tears in the field. That's how we really start to dysregulate. If that's happened, don't freak out. You can heal it.
Mhm.
Just think of it's like you're holding a beach ball and the beach ball is going to deflate. You're calling your power back to you. So at the end of each day, or so like you're going through your, whatever the stimulus, and you get to a quiet place for a second. You're in a loud restaurant, you go to the bathroom, go to the stall, takes 2 minutes. Okay. And envision pulling your energy back and down. It's a very micro shift, but it's a game changer because
Mhm.
you're remembering the nature is to go out like this and then kind of destabilize. So to pull back and anchor down, that's going to keep the system intact. Plus the earplugs, you'll be much better off.
Amazing. So I really appreciate that you're bringing ways to, oh, go ahead.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry. This just like dropped in. So imagine too, you're walking into a bar or a restaurant, it's loud. And another tool, so if you want to go back and down with the energy field, I always advocate earplugs. It's like you're zipping up a coat, but you're just going to zip up the front of your chakras. And
Mm.
zip, very simple and easy, like little intentional movement, and it just keeps your system. Now, it's not a fear-based response. This is an intentional, like, yeah, that's loud as hell. Those people are drunk. I don't want to take on the shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you contract your field close to your body, there's less transference available. So it's you being a ninja is what it is, right? And then you
Mhm.
go out and then it's calm and quiet, and then you can go and expand again.
Nice, beautiful. I appreciate that you're bringing in these ways and again just confirming y'all again. To own these sensitivities and this empathic capacity and to know that they don't have to run us. They don't have to run us. It's just an awareness, um, setting up things that really support, because there's the other side of the empath that's not into protection or being victimized by a particular thing. Understand, there's this superpower side to it. And so I want you to talk a little bit more about what the superpowers are in the empath era,
Oh, there's so
right?
many.
I know this is where it gets really good. So this is why you want to become, like, why wouldn't you want to be an empath?
Well,
Yes.
first off, because we can attune to our systems and we can literally like fine tune what it is that our bodies or need or our energy fields need. So we have a bit of a leg up in terms of personal intelligence when it comes to tuning into our own systems. So
Hmm.
it starts with self. Because you have the keys to your own kingdom. It's like you have pick your favorite car, Maserati, Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever. You just don't know how to drive it yet, right? But
Hmm.
once you learn how to drive it, you're like, woo! Because we have access to like tremendous vitality, right? We can repair our energy fields, our organ systems. We can reprogram mind. There's so many like really cool things that we can do to actually feel good. And today, you guys, in today's world, like the ultimate act of rebellion in today's world is to be healthy, happy, grounded. Like,
Right.
like, to me, that is ultimate success. So just know that it is possible to feel good in your body first. All right. From there, man, pick your poison because we can literally read rooms, right? We can intuit people's desires or intentions or motives. We can see what they want. And so we have kind of an upper advantage to that. We also have access to claircognizance, so light bulb moments and these, divine gifts that just drop in for us to manifest and create. So it's kind of like we have access to this blueprint, right, that might not be accessible to others. And some of us can see. So then we can use that to creatively visualize anything, like whether you want to create your own future or if you want to redecorate your living room. Like you can use it in all
Yeah.
kinds of ways. And then we've got the oh, it's synesthesia, right? The people who can like hear colors, and there's so many different ways to be like this that we can use in creative genius. But all of that's great, but if you feel like shit, none of it matters.
I mean, you're not going to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to start with the body. And what the big kind of like push that I'm here to like assist with, and this was my own, I had to go through my own stuff to integrate, to come out of victim and addiction and all the things, the trauma cycles, the all of that, to be like, wait a second, maybe I can actually feel good. And so I'm
Mm.
a lived example that it takes personal responsibility first and foremost, right? Willingness to be like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, I did that. I went through that. That was wisdom for me. I can actually take that and grow from it. And then
Mm.
lean into, yeah, the rest.
And dropping into it. What's also a part of the superpower from my perspective, from this maturity of our empathic capacities and understanding it, is that once we go through the layers of understanding and really start mastering that within ourselves, our capacity to hold the stable field of compassion and grace for others, it's like our capacity to harm an other gets significantly diminished because we understand what that suffering is like, because we've experienced it, the confusing, the anger, the sadness, the grief, whatever it's been, the gaslighting that we received or even put onto ourselves. We understand that it's such a finely tuned level that we really act as bridges for higher intelligence, if you will, for higher caring for others in a way that's just beautifully grounded because we've grounded it through our expression. We've gone through the full experience. It's when they say addicts make the best counselors for other addicts, it's they understand the journey.
Mhm.
They understand the journey. So it's to awaken into this superpower capacity of empath. It's what an amazing gift to receive and to what an honor to get to navigate that terrain, but also understanding that there's so much healing that comes through you as you go through the maturity process of awakening that. And it's typically always from the bottom up. It's everybody doesn't start at the very top. Not that people don't, but it's we still gain so much by going through the
Absolutely.
polarity. Yeah.
Well, it's being forged in the fire, so the cells can hold that higher vibration for longer periods of time. And that was really beautifully said. And the one even more piece to that is not taking things personally, right? The more that we become integrated in ourselves and kind of empowered with our gifts and secure with our gifts, we realize that when someone's triggered and projecting, it doesn't have anything to do with us, that's theirs. And as we're kind of working our process, and especially when it's those closest, so easy for that to come in and still hit our system so that we can continue to integrate that wound within ourselves. But it's exactly what you're saying, right? Because then we can have that compassion. That's theirs, not mine. I don't even need to like give it anything, right? And when you start getting to that place, not from the bypassing way, you guys. I'm not a bypassing kind of person.
Oh, come on, give us a pass.
No, not a bypassing kind of person. Uh, yeah, but being able to just like not, somebody can come and it's just like, like just water off a duck's back. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then it also gives us this capacity to like really check in with ourselves and not judge ourselves in the way that perhaps where shame and guilt come in. It's like, I don't want to look at that part of myself because again, again, I'll keep saying there's a maturity that comes with it, no matter what age we're in, and refining it that, like you said earlier, it's like water off the duck's back. It's like stuff doesn't stick, and we realize that whatever's coming in, it's just serving us, and we're forging that steel so much more stronger, and it's liberating us
Mhm.
from the entanglements that we're really not intended to carry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. Let's get into a little bit of Q&A. Y'all feel free to raise your hand. Samantha, you had your hand raised. I promoted you to panelist. Let's go ahead and get you to unmute and ask Sarah your question. But if anybody else wants to ask Sarah a personal question about process, about your empathy, about somebody else's empathy, don't hesitate to type in your question or come on live. And Samantha, welcome.
Hi, thank you both. This is wonderful. Um, Question for you, Sarah. I um, was, of course, trained to think that I was too sensitive about everything, and I'm done with all of that. And yet I know that because of the combination of that and living in a violent household, that I probably spent the first 20 years of my life hardly being in my body. And that was a long time ago, but I still wonder if I really know what it feels like, if I really know what it feels like to live
Mm.
in my body. The experience that I have in my body now is the best I've ever had. I just don't know how much more there is and how much that might be holding me back.
Mhm. Beautiful. And thank you. And it's so relatable. You know, disassociation from being sensitive in a traumatic environment, very common, right? I spent a long time about a foot above and behind myself, and it was going to take a tremendous amount of convincing for me to come down in because I didn't want to feel it all, right? So proud of you for the work that you've done to come down in. So are you wanting to know just, is there more like somatic or is it more emotional? Are you wanting techniques on grounding? What is it that, how can I
Well,
help?
I'm kind of just like wondering, how would I know? And um, how would I know if it's important for me to do a lot more work to really
Mm.
be living in and from my body, or if I'm fine the way I am and it's
So
not holding me back.
in this moment, you're quite embodied, you're quite grounded in your
Okay.
body. Right. And so wonderful job on that. If you find yourself slightly disassociating, you can just play with going up and down and back. There's no right way. You don't have to do anything. And practicing coming down and in It's if you want to do like really deep, full belly breaths and take that consciousness all the way into the pelvis. Soften and dilate the root chakra. Go ahead and pull off the tailbone cap. It just looks like a thimble. This is just through visualization. All we're doing is dilating the root, and then take that exhalation down through the root and out the tailbone, so the energy will go down like an oil change. Increasing inspiration is going to activate any other residual stuff in your muscles, because there's still, we all have stuff, girl. Even myself, I've been doing this for a long time, right? And so we're still got little things that are holding and caught in there. And through breath or through yoga or through just like, the basic types of things like that, those will still potentially come out. So if you're wanting, is there more, you can dial it up. Like, do you want to feel something more intense? Well, there's ways to do that. We activate it through breath, through movement. And there's something called trauma release exercises. They're awesome. They're on YouTube. And you can just Google it. And you just do like a wall squat or a bridge pose, and all of a sudden your muscles start shaking and it'll come out and you start crying or whatever, right?
Okay.
And so very simple, okay? But again, just watch the mind, because like in terms of like, sometimes we get used to processing and doing the work. So let's celebrate where you are. Let's celebrate how far you've come. Let's just walk around in your body as you are for the next few days and be like, hey, and then watch if you go out, and then see if you want to come back. And then just know, okay, if I want to increase visceral sensation, breath, movement, trauma release exercise.
Mm. And I would
Thank you.
recommend all three, because what else is available? What
Yeah.
else? What else does the sensuality of your being want to benefit from while you're still in this human incarnation and have the opportunity to experience that in spirit? You won't. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Even just like hugging, or if you have a pet, like holding your pet and like just being very present with, whatever the sensory tactile type thing is. Like I like again, the paramedic mind, we go basic life support to advanced life support. So I'm all about let's basic, and then we can ratchet it all the way up. There's Tantra, there's Kundalini, there's plant medicines. Like how big you want to go, man? Because there's a whole spectrum out there, right? And you're perfect as you are. And so I can see how far you've come. I can see how much effort it's taken for you to get here. So yeah, celebrate that.
Congratulations, Samantha. Thank you. Thank you. Great question. And you actually stimulated a question for me as well. And not that you're carrying this, but it prompted, as human beings, we are programmed for connection. And there is a desire to have intimacy with other people, whether it's through a lovership and an intimate connection, or really close friends, that the safety of our body and our hearts are there. But when we get into the empath that doesn't feel safe, we close those doors and we think, I'm too sensitive. I just enjoy being myself. It's me and God, or people are too much. What can you suggest that we can do to bring balance into some of those insights that we feel, but we kind of claim as gospel, as a way to separate and not learn to integrate? And how can we learn to become more available to that thing that it is that we really want, connection?
Yeah, we all want that connection. That's a big, huge part of why we're here, is to have that, the touch aspect, or just the physical embodiment aspect of even just eating your favorite food and like really enjoying it.
Enjoying it, yes.
Enjoying it, like let yourself have the cake. I'm a huge advocate, like, or whatever, take the trip or burn the nice candles, whatever it is for you that's gonna like make you feel good. So a lot of sensitives become hermits, close off, wall off. I don't want to take on bad vibes. Well, that's unintegrated shadow, right? So we all have all the things. And so the more that we integrate with ourselves and then start to put yourself out there, but you can do it consciously. Going to a bar, you're going to attract a certain thing. Going to Walmart, same thing, right? But if you're like, hey, I want like a friend. I don't have to have 20 friends. I just want like one really good friend. Just say it to the universe and then be open, right? Then go about your day and take yourselves to the place that you like to go. If it's a coffee shop or a bookstore or whatever, you're at work or whatever, just like be open to specifically dialing in that frequency. Now we have to be willing though to be open to, if somebody comes up, watch yourself being all like, that's a self-trust thing. And a lot of us have been hurt. A lot of us have gone through relationships that have been traumatic. And you guys, I get it. Heartbreak's like the worst. My core curriculum in this incarnation cycle is through partnership. I learned the most, and it can be so intense. If you think of those as, wow, that was curriculum, like that was for me, and I made it through that. I sucked, didn't get off the floor for a month, but I made it through it. So you can start to trust yourself. And if you can, it takes such balls to open your heart to connection after you've been hurt, betrayed, or broken. And that's the ultimate warrior. There's all this like Om Shanti stuff out there, right? About all the spiritual whatever. This is where the rubber meets the road, man. This is where it's like the real, because that extreme vulnerability. And so being willing to trust yourself, discern, right? Bars and like be where you're picking people up or meeting people, be discerning and stay open. What I'll do is I'll just throw a flare to the universe. All right, I'm lonely.
Oh my God.
They'll just tractor beam in. And I'm happy with just like one super high quality person at a time, and then it becomes this. Yeah. So that's excellent question though, because that's a trauma response.
Right.
Like, I don't want to pick up bad energy, then we're not understanding energy, because there's higher frequency, lower frequency. We all have all the things. The more integrated you become in yourself, the more it balances and it becomes wisdom. So we can see other people's pain and again, not take it on, not make it about us, and still be like, oh, pretty cool person. Maybe we grab coffee or go for a walk.
Right. Yeah. Great response. Thank you for that. And I want to get into a special offer. I want to get into more Q&A.
I could do this forever.
I know you can. And actually, I lost my thread of the question. So, y'all, we're going to go into special offer. We're going to take more Q&A afterwards. I'm sure the question will come back. I lost it, but it'll be there. Um, in the special offer, the link's in the chat box. You can find the special offer underneath the video where you're watching the call from as well. Click on the special offer button there. And I'm going to say this in a weird way, y'all, but Sarah is gifting us basically $400
Because I love you.
because she loves us. It's a $499 value for the Unlocking Your Superpowers program that she's put together for us. It's only $97 on BTO, y'all. And you're seeing what you get. It's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's like so practical, so on point, so easy if you just apply it, and so beneficial and supportive and compassionate to really honor your sensitivity and again ignite that superpower. Ignite that superpower. So I highly recommend that you follow along. I hope you dive into the special offer. But Sarah, if you would guide us through what everybody's going to be receiving as they dive in.
Well, grounded, practical, and it's needed. It's just so needed right now. It's like paramedic 911 triage time, y'all. So
Yeah.
it's very, very simple. So simple but potent, because that's how I like it. So first thing is accepting, right, that we're sensitive and just really coming to terms with, because again, whether it's societal pressure, you're too much. Why can't you just toughen up? What have we not heard, right? My entire life. It's like, and now it's so funny how as you become less like caring about what they say because you're doing your own work. And like John said at the beginning, you're just like, you know what? This is how I am. It is what it is. And those people eventually come back around like, holy shit, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? It's really interesting. So acceptance of self, then learning to get grounded, lots of tools on how to do that, practical, simple, clear your energy field, practical, simple tools. Got to get physically healthy. And so this is kind of the intro, because the basic stuff in the way of, like we were talking, deep breaths, sunlight, water, Epsom salt baths, those types of things, topical, right? Basic life support before advanced. But ultimately, nervous system regulation, hormone and gut biome regulation, toxicity in the cells, like there's all kinds of things that we can get into with that. The better you feel in your body, the more access you're going to have to your gifts. From there, step 5 is going to be about your gifts, you guys. Most of us are feelers. Well, do you just know stuff? Do you see? Do you hear? And do you see dead people? All of these are different channels or branches of a tree, right? And so we talk a bit about each of those.
Amazing. Amazing. How long are each of the modules that are in there?
But I think like an hour. And
Okay.
there's a PDF curricula. There's a PDF that you can download. And so there's the video. No, I think the whole thing's about 3 hours. And then you get the PDF download so that you can just kind of do like a little workbook, journal alongside with the questions.
I really appreciate this because again, it takes us through the arc of getting into the empowered state. And even if you are empowered, there's more. There's more. It's like, what else is available? What else are we unlocking? And y'all, empathy is a gift. It's not a curse. It's a gift. And we can have all the tools in the toy chest and the tool chest to play with, but unless we use the tools, then it lies dormant and we're wondering why something's missing. So not just to activate those superpowers, but to put them into action and to start living and to start realizing how your consciousness and your love not only impacts you, but how it impacts the world in such a beautiful way, an empowered way. And so this is timely, timely. So I hope you all take advantage of it. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, it's almost a $500 value. It's $97. It's a 2 payment option. It's a no-brainer. Y'all drop in. If it doesn't resonate for whatever reason, just send, hey, not feeling it, refund our money back, and easy within 30 days because we have to honor time frames. But we just want to make it super accessible for everybody because this work is so important. And your gifts, we are ready to witness and to be the beneficiary of what you have to share with us in the world. So again, the link for the special offers in the chat box underneath the video where you're watching the call from. Special offers can always be found on theordinaryshow.com/marketplace. And with that, Sarah, is there anything that you want to offer right now, Sarah, before we get into a little more Q&A?
One thing that was just coming in as we were talking about that, it's like, so why, one of the kind of the snags for people is to actually do it, right? And because then you're busy or you feel like crap or your dog pooped on the carpet or you got bills or whatever. There's always something. And so then you're like, oh, I don't want to meditate. And that's okay. It's okay to be in the human experience, right? It's okay. Sometimes we're dialed, sometimes we're not. Give yourself grace for both because both, it's paradoxical both. And at the same time, the more, if you take little tiny daily action steps for 10 or 20 minutes, it's going to accumulate over time to a massive shift. Versus if you don't work on your system as a sensitive, at minimum, your nervous system will be dysregulated, which will jack up hormones, sleep cycles, and emotions. Minimum. And then it can go into all kinds of heavy energy in your field, which presents in all kinds of physical ways, looking like disease processes, right? So it benefits you to just be like, all right, I feel like shit, but I'm just going to spritz myself with rose water. Like it doesn't have to be this huge thing. And
Right.
when we were talking about what can you use this for? Okay, so what does the Jedi level of this look like? Instant manifestation. is what the Jedi level of this looks like. When you become grounded and seated in your power, your chakras are flowing, your meridians are clear, you're attuned to the sensory information, you're not taking on projections, you're still, functioning as a person, but you're aware of the entire thing. You can literally be like, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in faster and faster. And there's all these manifestation talks out there, but it takes the steps, the foundation to get the anchor of clarity. Otherwise, it's just kind of fantastical thinking where we're vision boarding and wanting something that's cool, but that's only one frequency out here. We have to anchor it all. So if you're like, oh, I can't be bothered. Why do I want to? One, you're going to feel better. Two, you can genuinely start to attune to what it is that you want in your etheric template, right? And start visualizing, oh, I want that car, or I want to feel loved, or I want a secure relationship, or I want a healthy body, or whatever it is for you. I want to go to France, whatever. And you visualize, and it'll just be like, and that's where I'm at now. And I'm not perfect. I'm still human, right? I have my ebbs and flows just like anybody. To me, anybody that says they're fully there is like, I run. I'm still here. I'm still human. But it can be, you can make it a game where you're like, holy shit, I got that in 24 hours. And that just lights you up and it makes all of it worth it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, it brings in clarity. So clear, and you're walking the path, and if you navigate a little bit off and it's not serving you, you get on that path so much more quickly than being spun out, checked out, trying to figure it out, trying to get back to the root trauma. Again, all the things that we learned to do along the way, and it served us in different ways. But this is a direct access to the clarity and the power that's ready to be awakened within you, and the manifestation in that is tremendous. There's a statistic that was done by Harvard, a study done by Harvard University. Um, and the stat is if someone focuses 10 to 20 minutes on a daily basis on a particular thing that they want to learn, by the end of the year, they will be 90% more masterful than the general population at that thing. You will get to mastery level compared to 90% of the people in this world in that particular. So if you want to play the guitar, if you want to awaken and be in this practice of how can I manifest more clearly, intentionally, with integrity, it's all those things are right there for us, but we have to take the action steps, like Sarah's saying. And again, the study was profound. So it's the science is there, and then the tools are here to really serve us, and let's use it. Let's really step forward and just rock the rest of our lives because we can. Right? Hey, there's a great question that came in from Teresa. Teresa writes, I'd love to know your thoughts about the energy coming onto the planet and how it's impacting the physical right now.
High frequencies of light coming in. Now, there's a whole lot of talk around Schumann resonance, which is coming from the planet. There's also a tremendous amount of astrologic stuff, which is, and tonight on our super full moon, boy, you guys, we picked it. Let's all high five. We can just manifest whatever we want here today, tonight. So all of that energy is like a smorgasbord. There is also a lot of talk of ETs. That's not my wheelhouse. I can't speak firsthand to that, but there is an awareness around that, like being very prevalent as well. So my understanding is just very high frequency, tremendous amount of light and consciousness coming in. What that does, introducing a high frequency into a low frequency, it just starts to break up the dense matter. Everything just does exactly what we're seeing. And so is it higher consciousness? Is it love? Is it light? Is it energy?
Yeah, something that I experience though is I'm going through periods of kind of like the plane adjusting to a new altitude, and it kind of goes like up and it tries to hover a little bit and then it gets its power. It's sometimes when I'm feeling more of that expansion energy coming in, it is a getting used to and being okay feeling the adjustment in altitude without trying to get rid of it so quickly, because as again, we want to get back to that state of comfort. And when we're being stretched sometimes, again, when we're running and training for the marathon, the first mile when you first start off is the hardest, but finishing that last half mile at the end is a huge stretch, no matter how long you've been training. Um, what are some things that you can suggest for people to discern when they're really being stretched for growth and feeling safe in that, rather than they're being stretched because something is actually collapsing and they're supposed to discern that maybe it's just not time for that or that's not in their best interest?
First, the symptoms that often go with that, because it's perfect what how you're describing it, and people freak out, right? They're like, "What's wrong with me? I got to go to the ER."
Yeah.
Take some breaths first before you do that, because that's very expensive, and they'll just medicate you. That's a whole frequency there.
Spend your money here, not there.
Dizziness, nausea, some vomiting, sometimes dry heaving, coughing, insomnia, uh, dietary changes, food intolerances, heat and cold intolerances, light sensitivities.
Mm,
And then you throw in the basic emotional shit. Okay, so that's like 10 different ascension symptoms. So if energy, think of it like this, energy's coming in, the cells, they're vibrating at a specific pitch or rate. So the cardiac has a specific frequency, respiratory, nervous system, endocrine, all of them, and they're vibrating in a range of health. Then we've got the emotional body, the mental body, and it just kind of is always on this loop. Well, introducing this higher frequency, which is going to start to stir up your own shit, is going to present physically, because we're in physical bodies. So it's
mhm.
important not to freak out. Now, if you're actually having like chest pain or vertigo or something, yeah, let's be smart. Western is not evil. There's time and place for all things.
Right.
And at the same time, like, just know that it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's part of it. Now, how do we know if it's that and an invitation? So if it kind of comes on after like a night like tonight with the full moon, or all of these flares, or like the different
We
experience,
had two X flares yesterday, by the way. So
like the
yeah.
Schumann resonance is like, oh, crazy, right? Like
Yeah.
all over the place. And so if in this moment you're a little destabilized, that's okay. And so it's trying, you don't have to try to put the genie back in the bottle, because again, we want to be comfortable. We get scared, but it's okay to be a little uncomfortable, right? It's okay to be like, okay, I can hang with this. And remember, if like, even if you do a dry heave, some people are like, oh, I'm going to throw up. All right, we'll throw up. It's just energy moving out, right? It doesn't have to be this whole huge severe thing. It's like it moves, and then you're like, oh, I feel so much better, so much more integrated. Now, if it's a trauma activation, one, you're going to be familiar with that cycle. I don't want to do that because I've been through that, and I know how that's going to, you see how it's that constriction contraction phase around. Um, and so there's the invitation to lean in and potentially heal it and, integrate it. If you're not ready for that, then you find support to stabilize your system until you get to that point to be able to lead to that and integrate it. Every single thing, even the most severe circumstance of your life, is an invitation for wisdom. Period.
Yes. Period.
Period.
Period. I so appreciate you saying that. It's so true. How much do you advocate for supplements? Again, I love using my electrolytes. Silica is a best friend to me sometimes. What's part of your routine as far as supplementation and diet also to support these changes that are coming in and expansions?
Water, hydrate, you guys. Lots of electrolytes right now, especially magnesium. I
Mm,
like that calm. You can get it at Whole Foods or Sprouts. I'm not affiliated, but you just put the little scoop in, makes fizzy water. It calms everything down at nighttime, and it can help you sleep. I'm a huge advocate of CBD. I'm a huge advocate of ashwagandha. When my system is like it's been over this last week, it's like I got my finger in a light socket. I'm like, I'm just trying to make breakfast. Then it's just focus on breath. I want you to just literally, like you're like cutting an apple or you're making an omelet. I want you to just literally focus on, I'm cutting an apple. Take your breaths, okay? So nettle tea is another great one. Vitamins and minerals get really off, especially minerals for us sensitive. So go get yourself, again, I like those ones that are liquid form. minerals, where it's just like, so you can take them however you want to, but all of those things are kind of a standard baseline protocol for sensitives, because just think of, again, our nervous systems, the myelin sheath of the nerves. Think of it like a panel. It's a fuse box. If you're running too many amps for too long, it blows out. We
Mhm.
have to cool and lubricate the fuse box, and that's your nerves. That's your nervous system. So
Yeah.
aloe vera, they got some really good aloe vera drinks, and coconut water, phenom. Like
Love water, yes. I'm in
all
the
of
perfect place for coconut water as well.
the simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. And as far as minerals, you're speaking about trace minerals or other types of minerals as well?
Predominantly trace minerals.
Yeah.
Vitamin D as well, so direct sunlight, and then vitamin B complex for sensitives often gets off.
Mm. How,
And
how
for us, female embodied, especially around my age, hormones, perimenopause, menopause, those things they will
for
great.
men as well, it's our hormones are going out of whack with the energies that are coming in, the dysregulation that's coming from being bombarded with information constantly. Depression isn't just an emotional component, it is a physical um, ailment
Yeah. So even
that
a progesterone cream. Now be mindful with yourself. These things, the progesterone can't really jack you up as much as estrogen and testosterone. If those levels, you actually want to go to a holistic provider, have your panels done, get your thyroid checked, okay, T3, T4, and then you're going to get your hormone panel holistically done, and they'll be able to. Western just tries to throw you on Synthroid or something, so they only do like one thing. So go to a holistic and they'll do the whole panel with like a Dutch test or something. And they'll be able to dial up a specific. And I myself use bioidenticals, totally game changed for me. And it's like I really want to use whatever holistic tools I can use to feel good so that I can live my life and, fulfill my dharma.
means I'll say this with a caveat, and because it does come with just beautiful discernment, but body work is amazing also. But be sure that you're aligned with someone who can hold the vibrational quality of understanding and isn't directing their stuff onto you. And we can tell as empaths,
Mhm.
and we can know show up to something doesn't feel right. We can always say no. Not now, thank you. I've changed my mind. And really, but if you can find someone who can really support you on your journey that way, the physical touch, the loosening of the myofascia. Again, that's that plasmic energy, that those connectors, that electrical nodes within us that ignites everything. Um, to just receive that, again, just the physical touch alone just does something to our nervous system and we can relax. So there's again so many tools and support that's available to us, and it's put it into action and and devote yourself to you. Devote yourself to you. It's a game changer. There's a question that came in from Linda. She wants to know how she can best support her youngest daughter who lives with extreme PTSD.
Extreme PTSD.
Yeah,
Did they live together, Linda? You guys live together, or does she live somewhere else?
let's see. She hasn't responded yet, but we'll see what comes in.
Well, so PTSD is going to be predominantly brain, right? Dysregulation, nervous system dysregulation, and loop patterning of the thoughts. So the synapses get caught in that traumatic event, and it just can't, it's like you can't get the needle off the record. So we're going to do specific one, we got to see, are we still in the environment that created the trauma? If so, can we get out? Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. We don't know what's all happening there. Get to a safe environment. Make sure that you're like supported. You're wanting to support her, which is awesome. So EMDR, brain spotting, hypnotherapy.
Brain spotting is amazing.
It's like cousin to EMDR, right? And anything that's going to be about reprogramming and forming new neural pathways. So talk therapy is okay, it's adequate, it can be good and beneficial. I'm all about going into the roots. I want the roots. I don't want to regurgitate the same things over and over and keep it alive, right? And so it's all about getting into the body. So again, breath work, yin yoga, and everything mind, but so a somatic based trauma therapy.
Would you suggest like a holotropic breath work or no?
Not necessarily, because I go to my colleagues, combat vets, medics. I worked in Compton 911. Like
Mm,
uh, the average person has like four traumas in a lifetime. We have over 400 as medics, and
wow,
it's just kind of like there's things that we. So holotropic breath work is going to activate, and it might destabilize. It might take them to that point of just
makes sense.
pumping. So we don't necessarily we gotta stabilize until they're able to get to that. Yeah. So it's
Linda,
down and in,
uh,
ketamine therapy, MDMA therapy, microdose psilocybin assist, but make sure it's
Boga, really severe trauma, right?
yes.
Um,
Make sure it's a very grounded and secure provider, right?
mm,
If you're going to go into the plant medicine world, I would not advocate starting a PTSD person with something like ayahuasca.
I agree. No, definitely not.
We
We
gotta go
go into re-experiencing the PTSD, right? Yeah.
EMDR with some like MDMA assisted or ketamine assisted. That could be
And
yummy.
beautiful. It can really assist. Linda, you may want to reach out directly to Sarah if you want to get more insight specifically about what's coming through. But she says she is out of the environment, so thank goodness for that. And how beautiful that you're supporting her. And I would say also for Linda that it's probably also activating some of her empath in training that she has, and then there's a way that she can use this as a catalyst to get into more of that super path also. The superpower, the super empath power, I guess is what I was trying to say. Um,
One
so
thing, Linda, if you're mama bear, so we cord with our kids, man, right? And so for you, just make sure that you're not bleeding all your energy into that because she's got her own process to work and it's her own wisdom to find. You can help her, but if you're bleeding yourself out, you're not doing anybody any good, right? And that's for all empaths. We all
mm,
show up like, I'm here to help, but it's like if you're exhausted and all jacked up, like, and I'm not saying that's you, Linda, just but be mindful. If the cord is going to be there because that's your daughter, just clamp the cord from time to time or just pull your energy back from time to time. Check in with yourself about, okay, do I have the bandwidth today? And if you do, then yes. And if you're like, I'm kind of tired, okay, because we do have to, yeah, mama bear, I get it.
sweet. And it's just honoring that. It's like, we all wish we had someone that had our backs, right? And it's wonderful when we do get to receive that in a healthy way. So it's beautiful. Blessings to you. I can't find the question, but I can't find who wrote the question. I apologize, but I do remember the question. How can I tell if I'm an empath or I'm just way too sensitive?
They're synonymous. What is way too sensitive? Somebody else's projection on how you should be because they can't accept you because it triggers them, right? Like that is again cultural conditioning or coming from parents or coming from other people. And so it's our turn, it's our time. If you are sensitive, there's the highly sensitive person, which doesn't absorb other people's stuff. There's the empath, which feels and absorbs. It's really becoming attuned to who and how you are and becoming okay with it.
Hmm.
It took me 25 years to come out of the closet.
Hmm. I understand. I understand.
I'm
Sometimes,
on terms with this, man. Right?
but sometimes in the too sensitive part, we have to. There's also an understanding of our nervous system has gotten triggered where we get into extreme codependent patterns and we're feeling everything because we're searching for something that we can't satiate within ourselves. And we're leaning in heavily onto others. So we start projecting how they are or aren't showing up, that they're too much, too engulfing, n not for us enough. And so part of the too sensitive also can come about as really a reflection. It's like, how do I really check into the truth of what I'm feeling and take ownership, whether it's through the empowered empath or it's like, hold on a second, I'm trying to, oh, I don't want to use that term. Let me think of it because that's the one that came in. I am trying to get my source and supply from someone else when I really should be getting it from myself. Some people are called that vampiric energy. Empaths say, "The people are vampiring me. I'm too sensitive. They want my light. They're trying to drain me." But as sensitives and those who aren't regulated because we either had parents that didn't show up in the right way, they either abandoned us or helicopter parents that wouldn't leave us alone, we develop patterns and try to satiate the nervous system by doing exactly what we're condemning that we were receiving.
Ah, mic drop. So
Yeah.
well said. And you know that what that is going to be the attachment styles. So if you've
Mhm.
been told that you're too sensitive, check out attachment styles. There's secure attachment with this kind of this mythical thing where people like really feel secure in relationships. And then there's anxious attachment, there's avoidant attachment, and there's what's the other one? Just
Anxious avoidance.
no, it's like dysregulated. It's the one I have because it's when you're in a super traumatic environment.
Mm.
But those are the four primary kinds. It'll come in. Go ahead and do some work on that. Look into that because yeah, then if we're looking at wanting to get our cup filled by other people all the time, we can kind of be needy and
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's what he's pointing at there. So there is work for us to do in that regard. Yeah, for sure.
EDMR is amazing with those attachment styles. It's like, it brings us back into our bodies. And I've talked about this quite a few times on the show. But again, as we grow up as children, we're taught to stop our feelings short. So we start crying, stop crying. If we're sad, don't be sad, be happy. If as a child we have a sexual impulse, oh no, that's not appropriate, cut it off. And so we stop all those in our physical expression and those emotions, that energy doesn't have the outlets. It's just regulating through our nervous system. Not that we have to punch somebody because we're angry or go to a certain place because we have a sexual impulse. It's just knowing that we're safe having those experiences.
Absolutely.
And so just being
Disorganized,
important.
disorganized attachment is the fourth one.
Thank you.
So look
Thank-
at those, and that'll really help you. And
Mm,
and also be mindful of other people's projections because it's both. Like in any
yes.
sort of relationship, it's 100% on both sides. Each person is equally responsible for their own stuff, right? So
Mm,
if like you're doing this or they're like you're doing this, that's where it starts to get convoluted. So if you can pull back and be like, what am I doing to create this? Like, right? How am I showing up to that's propagating this? Or what am I needing out of this? Yeah.
mm.
Great.
So with unlocking your superpowers, again, you've been guiding people through this and you've been into EmpathX. I mean, it's you shifted all your work to this because it's just there's the book. Amazing. Where can we pick up the book? Is it on Amazon?
And Audible.
Audible.
And you
Fantastic.
guys, I know everybody's like busy and saturated. So again, short, clear, direct to the point.
Amazing. I do the book and the program. Um, what are you finding in your clients and the people that you're having sessions with that's exciting you as they're unlocking their superpowers?
It is amazing to watch people have breakthroughs, especially people that have been closeted or shamed for being this way. And then one, when we can be in community and have open conversations of like, oh, not bad, not wrong. There's, actually a whole bunch of us, welcome to the party, normalizing it, finding community for it, which you have here, I have the community, all of that stuff. People leaning into being willing to take action, being willing to change, and being willing to be powerful, being willing to feel good. When's the last time you felt good, you guys? Do you remember?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's actually a great calling out. Because a lot of times I think we get satiated just enough to not feel bad, that just a little bit feels good, and we think, oh my God, I'm happy just because we've gotten to the threshold. But what's on the other side of the threshold if we keep navigating, if we keep being in relationship with that? There's so much more that's available. And I think that many of us have forgotten how to be happy.
Oh, totally. And there's this like guilt shame complex around it. Like, how could I be happy when there's all these people suffering? Is it like everybody's on their own path, working their own thing? We've all done the things, all the things, right? And
Mm,
so if you're in the place of breakthrough right now, own it. Let yourself have it. What you're doing is not just for you, it is for the collective. You will send a beacon, a frequency of health and integrated human, and you hold that pole and that goes out into the field. This is a hologram. So everything affects, singular affects all, right?
Mm.
And so it's ballsy to be happy. It's ballsy to feel good. And it's, so you might kind of tiptoe in there and like, ooh, I feel it. And then you might backslide. Totally normal. Do it
Mm.
again. Tiptoe back up there. See if you can hang for a while. And I'm not talking an external, yeah, there's nice things that make us happy externally. I'm talking about an internal, like, all right, I'm all right. Attune the neuroplasticity back to happiness. Feel, and if you can't access happiness right now, that's cool. If you can get to being okay, can you feel kind of calm? Tuning
Mm.
that is where we're going to start, and then we work our way up.
That's beautiful. Another happiness hack, y'all, and this is a hack. Stand in front of a mirror and invite your 5, 6-year-old in and have a conversation with your 5 or 6-year-old and ask them what they would like to do with you. Ask them what they would want to do with you. I want you to take me for ice cream. I want you to go chalk on the sidewalk. I want to go on the swing. I want to go pet the cat. Whatever it is, whatever you hear, this is the most important thing. Well, showing up is the most important thing. The second most important thing is doing the action that's requested quickly. If you can't do it right away, do it the next day or the day afterwards, but no later than that. And really allow your inner child to activate that joy, that playfulness, the receptivity, the showing up, the relationship. And before you know it, those super empath powers become integrated in a balanced way that it doesn't come from a place that you're trying to do soul recovery so you can get aspects of yourself back. It's right there. All you need to do is tune in and and he gets to guide you, but you get to guide that part of yourself as well. Um, y'all, what Sarah's offering here is phenomenal. Again, so relevant, so important. So I hope y'all dive in. Again, the special offer link is in the chat box and the special offer button underneath the video. If you're watching this call on the YouTube replay, the special offer link can be found in the comments section as well. And of course, we'll be running the replay all week long so y'all can come back and just dive into this amazing energy that we've had here today. And it's with that, Sarah. Thank you so much. This is awesome. I just love it's just you're so direct. It's so relieving to me. It's just no heavy lifting. Just go, 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 go.
Much for having me, and thank you, everybody. I just love you. Appreciate you all so much, and I'll come back as much as you want, John. So
Love it. Absolutely. We'll definitely have you back. I appreciate you too as well, Sarah. And y'all, y'all are amazing. Really. I started this call with a prayer, acknowledging the gift that you are. And it's truly, I hope you receive that from my heart to yours. And with that, I bow to you and namaste. And I look forward to seeing y'all soon.